If you take a step back and look at your typical behaviors throughout the day, what proportion of them do you think are intentional and what proportion of them do you think are based on habit? If I told you that 40% of your actions were in fact based on non-conscious habits, would you be shocked? But when it comes to fulfilling our potential, how do we build healthy habits that actually stick? Before you beat yourself up too much for the many bad habits that you may have, it's important to understand that those non-conscious behaviors we carry out each and every day are part of a chemistry of our brain, and this neurochemical pattern is actually good for us. Habits form when a goal-oriented decision is carried out so often that it becomes automatic. It becomes an automatic behavior, right? As if your brain completely shuts down, also known as autopilot. Wrecking your brain trying to come up with an excuse to your boss why you're so late to work, yet still manage to make it there without noticing the journey along the way. Yet what happens when habits go wrong? Even though the process of making any habit automatic, also known as neuroplasticity, is very useful, this can also be harmful and prevent us from becoming the best versions of ourselves. Knowing that our lunch break sparks a desire to unload our wallets at the snack bar, you might need to adjust your approach, and you can. So, how do we break them? Well, you don't. You replace them. People who can identify a bad behavior ahead of time are better equipped to replace that habit with what psychologists call the if-then plan, which will involve putting your best foot forward and making a more conscious decision next time. It's important to recognize the underlying cause of these habits. If you bite your nails when you have to get up and give a speech in front of the class, then maybe you can adjust your approach by, instead, writing down all the reasons why you know you'll be great at it. If this happens, then do this instead. By developing a system and making conscious efforts to make a different action, you'll develop new neuronal connections that over time become automated as well. You're not breaking these bad habits, you're just replacing them with good ones. We all have it in us. We are the miracles we seek. It only takes time, effort, and action. We are the greatest adaptable machines. That superpower is within all of us. Discover, adjust, adapt, and grow. What's up guys, Josh Blunt here. I read an article the other day that was saying 93% of people create New Year's resolutions and only 77% of them make it to 1 week and only 19% of them make it to 2 years. Now, this blows my mind. What that shows me is that 93% of people want to change. 93% of people want to become the best versions of themselves, yet only 19% of people actually do. And the reason that this is crazy is because I used to be that same person. I used to want to change and try to change, and it took me years and years and years to finally figure out how to do that. You know, growing up, I grew up just like anybody else. I didn't grow up with everything given to me. I didn't grow up with financial freedom. I had to work for the things that I wanted. And I'm not gonna tell you the sob story like you've heard a million times, but the thing is, the one thing I did have growing up was love and support. And I'm not talking about financial support, I'm talking about emotional support. Emotional support from my parents that gave me a shoulder to rest my head on every single time I would fail, every single time I would go through a struggle. And I went through struggles just like anybody else. I grew up partying, doing drugs, doing criminalistic things. Fortunate enough, I didn't go to jail, but many of my friends did. And the thing is that many of my friends are still there right now. So I was very fortunate and very lucky that I changed and got out of that when I still had a chance. But the way that I did that took a long time. Just like any habit that you're trying to change, if you're trying to become the best version of yourself, it's gonna take a while, and it should take a while. That's something that should be earned. But the way that I did it was finding mentors. And these were not mentors in my social circle. I did not have people kicking me in the butt every time I screwed up in my social circle, making sure I did everything right. I had to discipline myself. These were mentors that I found in books, in videos, that were teaching me the strategies and the systems to become the best version of myself. Yet I still had to have the discipline and learn the discipline myself to implement those strategies into life. And that's what it's really about. So everyone has their own goals, whether it's fitness, whether it's your health, whether it's financial freedom, whatever it is, you're gonna have mentors that are in that field and you just need to find them, and it's gonna take time. But the thing is, all we have is time. Especially right now, during this quarantine, all we have is time. The funny thing is, 93% of people create these New Year's resolutions because they want to change. After a week, most of them stop. Do you think the following year they no longer want to change? That they wanted to change that one year and the following year they're good to go? They don't want to change anymore? Absolutely not. They're going to try again and again and again. And year after year, they're going to try to be the best version of themselves. And most of them, after a week, as the studies show, they're going to quit. Maybe that's you. It used to be me. But the thing is, it does not have to be like that. If you're going to want to change next year, why not just change now? Why not just start now? Even if it takes you that full year to make the change, you're going to want to make it anyways the following year. And the way that we're going to do that is to create systems and strategies into your life that make those change easier. Now, if you're wanting to eat healthy, I wouldn't recommend starting a diet plan or changing everything that you eat every single day. That's just too much in the beginning. I'd recommend starting very, very, very small. And you'll hear this from a lot of people, start small. That's proven to be successful for a reason. You don't want to overwhelm yourself in the beginning. Even if you're eating 3 healthy meals a week and that's it, or 1 healthy meal a day and that's it, that's more than enough in the beginning. Because guess what? Over time, that's going to become so easy. That 1 meal a day, that 1 healthy meal is going to be so easy to do. They're going to change it to 2 healthy meals and 3 healthy meals over time. 6 months, 8 months, a year, whatever it takes. But the thing is, next year you're going to want to do it anyways. So why not get started now? Why not get started with these new habits so next year you're already that best person that you wanted to be? And you need to find a system or a strategy that works for you. I'm going to give you one strategy, one thing that you can implement into your life, very easy. They call it the Seinfeld strategy. You can look it up. The idea is that there was a young comic, and you can look at the story, there was a young comic who asked Jerry Seinfeld how to be a successful comedian. And what he said is, to be a successful comedian, you have to tell good jokes. And to tell good jokes, you have to write every single day. Now that doesn't mean you have to spend hour, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a day writing. That's not what it means. What it means is that every single day, you need to put in some effort into writing. Now this is one example, but the way that he did that was to get a year-long calendar, a calendar that has every single month, get a red marker, and every single time that you do something towards your goal, if you're trying to write a book, write a paragraph a day. That's it. Very simple. Put an X on that day, a red X. The next day do the same thing. The next day do the same thing. What you're going to see is that over time you're going to create this chain, right? And the goal is to not break this chain. That's the goal. Don't break the chain. And that's why you need to start small. You don't want to make your goal to exercise every single day because, for one, that's not even healthy. And for two, it's too overwhelming, it's too complicated in the very beginning. So you need to do something small, like maybe 10 push-ups a day, 10 crunches a day, whatever it is. Put an X down. The next day, 10 crunches, put an X down. Do that for a couple of weeks, and you're gonna find that those 10 crunches that you're doing now are so easy. Now you're gonna do 20, then you're gonna do 30. And this is gonna create a habit over time. And the way that it creates a habit is through neuronal connections that make this habit easier. Whatever your thoughts are, it makes it easier through myelination. You can look this up. The point is that after a while, these habits are gonna get very, very easy. And then you can add to it. You do 1 healthy meal a day, that's it, put an X. The next day, put an X. After a week or 2 weeks, now you change it to 2 meals, if that's what you want. Exercising, eventually this is gonna grow. And it's gonna become very easy for you to become that person that you wanna be, whatever your goal is. But it blows my mind that 93% of people want to change, yet only 19% of those people actually do. You do not want to be that person. Trust me, I've been there. I've struggled for years, and then I became a leader. I became the person with the answers, and not because I got those answers from somebody else, but I got them from myself, my own experiences. Yeah, they taught me in the beginning, they helped me grow, but the reason that I grew like that was because I implemented these strategies into my life, I found my own way, and then now I have the answers. People watch motivational videos all the time, but eventually you don't need to watch those motivational videos. You become the motivator. You become the motivational person because now you're the one that's motivated and other people are wondering how that becomes possible. So you give them the answers. You become that person. You become the leader over time. This is biology. You cannot fight biology. It does get easier over time. I know you've heard that a million times, but the thing is it's true. It's biology. This is all created in your brain to make habits easier, to use less energy over time to do the same thing over and over again. You cannot fight biology. I promise you, just get started. Get started with something very small. I don't care what it is. 2 push-ups a day. Because I guess what? 2 push-ups a day is better than none, right? So just get started with something. You do not want to be a part of that 77% next year and the 77% the year after that and the year after that and the year after that. You don't want to be a part of that. You want to be a part of the change. You want to be a part of that 19%. So if you don't do it this year, you're going to be in the same position next year. You don't want that. Get started small and then grow over time. I promise you it'll help. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next video.